Plaintiffs Annie Tran and Genesis Lewis say they go to the University of Wisconsin with the defendant, and they all decided to take a road trip to Miami for spring break. Annie says the defendant is a big talker, promised to get them into all the hot clubs, but their trip took a turn for the worse, and Annie and Genesis ended up flying back home. They're suing the defendant for gas money. Defendant Tyrus Cartwright says he was planning to go to Miami to see his girlfriend, but the plaintiffs wanted to turn it into a girls gone wild trip. Tyrus claims Annie and Genesis got angry at him because he wouldn't let them use his car to go to the clubs, and he's countersuing for travel expenses.
Start with you.
We are all students, Your Honor, at University of Wisconsin-Madison. I know Tyrus personally because he is my neighbor. We were really good friends previous to this trip. Me and Tyrus had a conversation. He said he was driving down to Miami, where he's originally from, for spring break. He was looking for additional riders. He said that he knew where all the hot spots were, where the clubs were, where to go, the beaches. And again, he is from Miami, so I bought right into it. He also mentioned that his mother is a employee at the Marriott, and he could get a hotel at a discounted rate for us at $39 a night. It was cheap, it was affordable, and of course I needed something to do on spring break, so I jumped right in. I said, count me in, and from there we initiated further plans. Because we were looking to cut the cost down even more, I asked Genesis to come along for the ride, and Tyrus also found 2 other riders for the trip.
First, what was his agreement in terms of contributing?
His agreement was that he was going to help us with a discount on the rate for the hotel, which we
He's running
booked
for gas money, though. How does that relate? What's his agreement?
He promised to drive us around Miami, so we paid him in advance for the gas.
You paid him for the gas.
To drive us around Miami, to show us around.
The money that we paid him in advance was for all the mileage that would be accrued on the trip. So there was mileage to get down to Miami.
What did you pay him?
Oh, we each paid him $133.
All right, sir. What do you want to tell me about this?
Well, Judge, first of all, I want to start off saying that when I planned a trip to go to Miami, I planned a trip to go down there and spend with my girlfriend, my family. I'm from Miami, and they basically wanted to plan a girls gone wild, crazy trip in Miami. And I already told them I'm going down there to spend time with my family.
You didn't promise to get them in the clubs and all that?
I promised them that I would take them around Miami on the days that I'm going out in Miami. Mm-hmm. And that's also here in the email that I sent to them.
Mm-hmm.
The email is very long. I outlined all the details. I did a lot of research about the cost of the trip. I spent a lot of time to, reduce the cost as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So we went down there, and they're only like 19 to 20 years old, so they all have fake IDs, and they wanted to go to all the clubs, go to all the parties. And so we got down there on Sunday night, and the first thing they wanted to do was go to the club. And I was like, well, I'm tired. We just got done driving 24 hours. I want to get some sleep. It's been a long drive. So they said, well, can we use your car to go to the club? I'm like, sure, go ahead. It's no big deal. So they went, the car was on full tank. They came back the next day on half tank. They didn't say anything about the gas in the car or anything like that. Then they said, Tyrus, can we use your car again to go out tonight? I'm like, yeah, you can use my car, but I'll have to charge you $25 plus, return it on a full tank, because the agreement was for you guys to give me money for me to take you around Miami, not for you to rent my car, take my car and do whatever you want to do, because now I'm stranded in my hometown. I can't see my family. So after that, they got upset. So they went out the next night.
How much did they give you?
$77 each.
Okay.
The two girls.
And that was for which charge? Is that for driving around in Miami?
Yeah, we calculated everything. That's to going down to Miami.
All right.
And that's driving around Miami and coming back.
All right. And did you do that for them?
No, sir. Because they after they got upset, they said, well, Tyrus, since you're charging us to use your car, we're going to get our own rental car and we're going to do our own thing. Okay. So they basically abandoned the contract, because I never told them I wasn't going to take them around anymore. I told them that they can't.
You told them what?
I told them that they can't use my car, take my car, because you didn't pay to rent my car. You paid me money for me to take you around Miami, and I will do that.
You have that email?
Yes.
Also in that same email, he also states, I will assume, he says, I'm assuming you want me to drive around for the entire week if you guys do not get a rental car. Mm-hmm. Because we did get a rental car, the mileage that we did pay for in advance kind of, changes the contract around, because he did list that as an option.
Your witnesses want to speak?
Yes, Your Honor. So Connie right here, he was here on the trip. And so basically they got hostile about me charging them to use my car as a rental car because that's not what they paid me for. Annie told me, Tyrus, don't worry about us no more. We got a rental car. Just pick us up on Saturday to go to Key West. I'm like, fine. Friday comes around. My girlfriend sees it on Facebook. She's not my fiance. Sees on Facebook that Annie is back in Madison. I'm like, how is Annie back in Madison? We're going to, Key West on Saturday. So they flew out on Friday. And part of the agreement was for them to drive back with me because I was driving by myself. So they up and left, and now I have to drive back.
That's the counterclaim. We're still focusing on their claim. They said that you discussed the option of them using a rental car, and that's what they did. And so therefore, they're entitled to the money back that they gave you for your use.
Yeah, but they didn't take that option before we left.
There was no expiration on the option.
I understand that. And they used the car.
So whether they did it before, after, or now?
Yes, they used the car. The first 2 days they did use the car, and then the rest
So how much gas was that?
I don't know. They paid me for the gas.
Because that's all you would be entitled to. Right. You gave them the option. You have the option of getting a rental car or me driving around.
Yes, but they took the option of me driving them around. The only reason they got the rental car.
And that didn't work out, right?
But the only reason they got the rental car is because they wanted to use my car for free. They didn't want to pay me to use my car, and then that's when they decided.
And was that part of the agreement? Pay you to use your car?
No, it wasn't.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying.
No, sir. If you change, how can you change it then? If that wasn't part of the original agreement, how can you change it and say, now I want money for using my car, not just gas. I want money for the use of my car. Do your witnesses want to speak or not?
Yes, this is my brother, Your Honor.
Come on up.
All right.
State your name.
Tayshawn Scott, right? Yes, sir. I flew in from the Bahamas to Miami, right? And he told me he didn't have no one else to, drive him back up to Madison from Miami. It's like 23, 24 hours, something like that. We had to drive all the way from Miami to Madison. And now
you had to.
Yeah, he had to. It was
Somebody forced you?
Because only him was returning to Madison. He couldn't drive by himself from Madison.
Nobody forced you all to do that.
But that was the agreement for them to drive back with me. But they abandoned the agreement by leaving early. They just left. They didn't even say anything. They just left.
That's your counterclaim?
Yes.
All right, because you keep going to your counterclaim. So I'm just going to conclude you breached the original agreement. Now we can get to your counterclaim. So the counterclaim is that they owe you $250 for travel expenses, and you're saying that's because they agreed to ride with you and they didn't?
And they didn't. And
that cost you?
They cost me to have to pay for him to come up here and also to pay for his flight back to Miami.
All right, ladies, did you breach the agreement to go back and forth with him?
We were actually forced to breach the agreement. He left us stranded without a hotel or a rental car.
Tell me how that occurred.
When we got down there, the hotel that we moved into was not the same hotel. It was $130 versus $39 a night, and he also put us in a room with two of his frat brothers, which was completely not.
So six people in one room.
That's definitely not the case, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
You tell me.
About the
room.
The reservation that they made. I told them I can see if I can get my mom's discount. My mom gets a discount for $35 a night. So my mom has to go to her supervisor, get a form signed.
Good enough. What about them staying with frat brothers? Did anyone stay in the room with them?
They agreed on that, sir, because it was.
And it was two men.
Because no, it was four girls, and they said, well, Tyrus, Connie and Martinez.
How many men?
Two.
All right.
They said Connie and
He
Martinez
says
can
you
stay
all
with
agreed.
us.
We agreed to lessen the burden of the cost.
So why are you mentioning it today like he did something wrong?
No, there is more. After the next day, Tyrus booked the reservation for the $39 a night room for his two frat brothers and left us with a $800 hotel bill. When we discussed with Tyrus that we could no longer afford this room since the two guys had left, he said that let's work on a solution. Let's find out what we can do from here. So therefore, we booked another reservation at another Marriott hotel that offered the $39 a night room. He said that me and Genesis could stay there, but not the other two girls. Me and the girls had already put in on a rental car. We had to be together.
So what occurred? So you didn't go?
Yeah, we didn't
want
to.
All right, now let me ask. Your agreement was with whom to drive to Madison with you?
Annie, Genesis, Clementine, and Keisha.
4 people?
Yes.
And you told her that only 2 of them could go?
Yes.
So you breached the agreement.
What happened was the 2 other girls, Keisha and Clementine, they were the girls that started being hostile. They were saying a lot of negative things to me, and Connie was there.
Like what?
They were saying It's in the email. It's also here on.
You read it. And why were they saying it?
Well, I don't.
Why?
Because of the disagreement with charging them.
Because of being stuck in the hotel with 6 people.
No,
I don't blame them. I would become abusive too. Your counterclaim is dismissed. You breached the agreement, and your gas claim will be granted $188 because he tried to amend the agreement to make you all pay for his car rather than just the gas, as both of you all agreed was the case. Have a good day.